Inshallah, tonight we shall commence the lecture, which is on Akhlaq or Khuluqul Muslim, the character of the believers. What's supposed to be the behavior of the believers, your character when it becomes part and parcel of your life, becomes your behavior, becomes the way you behave, becomes your habit. And if it is good, then your habit, your behavior, your character will be good. If it is evil, it goes the same way. So that is why in Islam, the issue of character is very, very important. It influences our attitude, it influences our religion. Some people even judge your religion with your character. Whatever you do is taken to be the way you were taught in your religion. If you are good, people will say, oh, the Muslims are good. And if you are not good, people will say the Muslims are not good. So our character is very, very important. In the light of that, we've treated up to 6. And today we'll be taking the number 7, which is Khuluqul Haya, the character of modesty and chastity. Modesty and chastity. Al-Muslim afifun hayyun. A Muslim is always chastity, is always modest. First of all, what do we mean by modesty? How do we show that we are modest or we are chastity? We show that we are modest in speech and in behavior, in our attitude. The way you talk, when you talk with humility, that shows you are modest. You show you are modest if you cannot just say anything anyhow, anytime. You are cautious of the environment, you are cautious of the time, you are cautious of the consequences of whatever you say, then you are modest. The Prophet ﷺ said, Inna mimma yudraku min kalami nabi ula, or kama called, part of what people inherited from the Prophet before Islam is that إذا لم تستحي فاصنع ما شئت. If you are not modest, if you are not chastity, if you are not care, say whatever you like, do whatever you like. So as Muslims, because we are very careful, so we don't do whatever we like, we don't say whatever we like, we don't eat whatever we like, we don't walk whatever we like. We choose, we make choices. So when you make choice of words, when you make choice of statements, then you are modest. Because you know the consequences of whatever you say. You are afraid of what will become. It's not as if you don't know what to say, but you are afraid of whatever you say. So Muslim is always known to be that. Wal haya khulqullah. And that's why modesty is one of our character. The behavior of Muslim is to say a Muslim is always modest. In al haya min al iman. Because modesty is part of faith, it's part of Iman, it's part of our belief. If you have belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you have Iman in Allah, then you'll be modest. So that means if you are deprived of the character of modest or modesty, that means you don't have Iman. So the disappearance or the absence of modesty is the disappearance of Iman. Wal Iman aqidatul mu'min, Muslim. Because we know that modesty is part of Iman, then Iman is also part of the Aqidah, the creed of believers. In fact, it is the Kiwamu Hayati. It is the pillar of our life. Without Iman, our life is useless. Without Iman, our life is what? Is useless. When a calamity befalls a Muslim, his statement is Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi rajiun. That is born out of Aqidah. It's born out of his Iman to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So supposing he does not have Iman, he can commit suicide. There was a case of a very rich young guy who studied and then had best results. He got best job. He settled down in America. Within a twinkle of an eye, he got married and he bought houses, cars. After a while, he lost his job. And he was looking for another job. So he started getting jobs that are less to his status. So he rejected those jobs. While that was going on, he spent his savings, and then the house he broke out for was also on the other side, eating deep into his account. So there was no replacement. So at a point in time, he had to settle for a job that is less than his status, but he couldn't get. Whenever he spent like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, then he loses the job again because it's very low to his status. Then that goes on and goes on until the bank took over his house, the car disappeared, and he couldn't cope anymore. So he decided with his wife that the best is for him to commit suicide. And then they all agreed. So he killed his wife, killed his children, and killed himself. Because he lost hope. He was trained to be successful, but he was not trained to handle failure. So that's just, but a Muslim, because of his iman, he knows that the fact that something is good does not mean it will not turn the other side, because the life is created with the two opposites. So if you find happiness, you should be expecting sadness, if not more than once in a while. So if you are in sadness, then the next thing is happiness. So if you fail, the next after that is success. So it goes on. That is life. If you are living, the next thing after that is death. If you are healthy, the next thing after that is sickness. So whenever any of it comes, you don't see it as issue. You see it as part of the experience of life. And that is what we should know. So al-iman bid'un wa sab'un. The Prophet ﷺ said that iman has 70 branches. Our bid'un wa sittun, or we say it has 60 branches. It depends on the way you count it. And then for afdaluha la ilaha illallah, the best of the branch of our iman is the kalima la ilaha illallah. There is no deity worthy of worship except Allah. Wa adinaha, and the lowest of iman is imatatul adha and tariq, is when you take off injurious things that could harm others from the path of the road. So that is an example, but it doesn't limit to you taking away something injurious. You may also prevent injury for others by just directing them to what is good. You know, if he goes that way, if he treads that way, if he does this way, is going to lead to failure. And you advise him accordingly. That is the lowest part of iman you are given to your brother. And he said, wal haya shu'batun min al-iman. And definitely, modesty is just a branch of iman. Out of those 70 or 60 branches, haya is one of them. So that means if you are bereaved of that, if you are deprived of iman, then of modesty, you've lost a branch of your iman. In another hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said that al-haya wal-iman qurana jami'an. Modesty and iman are like two sides of a scale. The right side and the left side, they are colleagues, they work together. فَإِذَا رُفِيَ أَحَدُهُمَا رَفَعَ الْآخَرُ. If you lift one of them up, the other one will follow. It's not possible for you to lift one and the other will stay. No. Both of them will both go up. And if one of them falls down, the second one will follow it. It will follow it. So it's like the eyeball. If you twist it to this side, if it is just the right one, the left one will follow. And if you twist to this left side, the right one will also follow. So if you have iman, definitely you're supposed to have modesty. And if you are modest, then you're supposed to also be somebody with iman. The reason why modesty and iman are twin brothers, are colleagues, is because two of them calls to doing good. The two of them, if you are modest, you would never like to do evil because you don't want people to shame you, you don't want people to embarrass you. Modesty is for you to avoid embarrassment. Iman also will call you to what is good because you don't want to be embarrassed as somebody who believes in Allah and committing evil. Also, the two of them will never not only turn you away from me, allow you to do good, they will also turn you away from evil. فَالْإِيمَانِ يَبْعَثُ الْمُؤْمِنَ عَلَى فِعْلِ طَاعَاتٍ. And it is your iman that will always make you to get involved in ta'ats, in obedience to Allah. You do things that will hand you reward this life and hereafter. وَتَرْكُ الْمَعَاصِي, things that will make you to shun sins. It is iman. وَالْحَيَاء يَمْنَهُ صَاحِبَهُ مِنَ التَّكْسِيرِ فِي الشُّكْرِ لِلْمُنْعِمِ. And if you are modest, you would also not want to be found wanting in appreciating the favor of Allah on you. Among ourselves, if somebody is modest, he will always be appreciative. He will always say thank you or sorry. It won't be too much for him to say sorry. It won't be too much for him to say thank you. Jazakumullah khair. The same thing, if you have iman, it will be easy for you to say alhamdulillah. You give thanks to Allah. If you have iman, it will be easy for you to always not only say alhamdulillah and say astaghfirullah, because you know you might have committed sin. The Prophet ﷺ said that I seek for Allah's forgiveness not less than 70 times, 100 times in a day. So if the Prophet ﷺ did that when he was alive, so who are you not to seek for forgiveness? So as Muslims, because of our modesty, we will always say astaghfirullah, 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 because we don't see ourselves with pride that I'm not a sinner. Oh, I have not committed sin. We don't see ourselves that way, because the iman we have will always make us to see that we are found wanting. وَمِنَ التَّفْرِيدِ فِي أَقِدِ الْحَقِّ. And if you have iman and you have haya, it prevents you from depriving others of their rights. كَمَا يَمْنَعُ الْحَيِّ مِنْ فِعْلِ الْقَبِيحِ أَوْ قَوْلِهِ اتِّقَاءً لِلذَّمِّ وَالْمَلَامَةِ. Just like modesty will prevent you from doing what is bad that will cause you embarrassment and people's accusation or abuse on you or over you. The same thing, iman, will prevent you from committing sin, so that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not be annoyed with you. So because of that, al-haya khair, will say that anything that comes out of modesty is good. Walayati illa bi khair. Because the Prophet said, al-hayahu la yati illa bi khair. Nothing will come out of modesty except what is good. Just like he said about patience. He said, nothing will come out of patience except what is good. There has never been a time when you will say somebody is too patient. No, there is no 2 or 3 to patience. You need more, no matter how patient you are. Al-haya'u khayrun kullu. In another hadith, it says that to be modest is the best of everything. So the other side of being modest is to be lousy and not minding the consequences of what you say, not minding the consequences of what you do. To be lousy in statement, in action. While a Muslim is discouraged from this attitude of lousiness, he is not one. He is also discouraged from being too harsh and too hard, or from being a being that is deprived of mercy. A Muslim is discouraged from that. There was a case of a Sahaba. He was with the Prophet ﷺ, and he saw Hassan and Hussein, the grandchildren of the Prophet, coming to him, pecking him, holding on to him, hugging him, and after they left, he told the Prophet ﷺ, I have so many of children like that. I never allow them to to touch me. I shout at them. Because children, you know, they can be so funny. The Prophet ﷺ said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala La yarhamu illa ruhma. Allah will never show mercy on anybody except those who are merciful. The way you relate even with children, the way you relate with animals, the way you relate with people show that you are merciful. So all these acts of wickedness, dryness, harshness, and things that go along that line, lousiness, are the opposite of being modest, and they are highly discouraged by Islam, because these are adjectives and characteristics of the people of hellfire. They will be very lousy, they will be very harsh, they will be very wicked, dry, very hard to deal with. They are deprived of mercy and kindness. While Muslim min ahli al-Jannah, but the believers, because they are supposed to be inmates of al-Jannah, so modesty is one of the characteristics of the inmate of al-Jannah. So every Muslim must have it. فلا يكون من أخلاقه البذاء ولا الجفاء وشاهد هذا قول رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Prophet said that al-hayā min al-iman wal-iman fil jannah, that modesty is part of iman and iman is from paradise. Wal-badhā min al-jafā wal-jufā fil nar, and the act of wickedness, dryness, and harshness is the character of the people of hellfire. So all these ahadith shows that as Muslims we have to be modest. Some of us, we have a very wrong notion of modesty. When we talk of it, we said, yeah, a woman is expected to be modest, while men, no, there's not like while men, both man and woman are expected to be. We are both expected to have it. So it's not meant for women alone. Even men are supposed to be modest. وأسوة المسلم في هذا الخلق الفاضل الكريم رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, because we have our prophet, whom it was reported in the Sunnah that وَكَانَ أَشَدَّ حَيَاء مِنَ الْعَذْرَى. The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم is more modest than a lady that is meeting her husband for the first time. She had no experience of a man, and except her father, her brother, but she is having the experience of another man in her life for the first time. You see how modest she will be. فَإِذَا رَأَى شَيْئًا يَكْرَهُ عَرَفْنَاهُ فِي وَجْهِهِ. Whenever the Prophet ﷺ sees anything that he dislikes, you will see his expression. He changes to pass across the message. His disapproval of that thing will be known in the way he expresses his look, but not with harsh words. No, he is always very careful of that. So because of the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described him to be modest. So إنما يدعو إلى خير ويرشد إلى البر. A Muslim is advised to always call to what is good and righteousness. And because modesty always calls to what is good and righteousness, so modesty also becomes one of his character and attitude. The Prophet ﷺ مر برجل يعظ أخاه في الحياة. A brother was admonishing his brother about khulqul haya, how to be modest, that you have to be careful, you don't have to be lousy, you have to, and he was lecturing him. Prophet said, Da'u fa'inna al-haya min al-iman. He said, leave him, don't shout at him, don't force him, but he should know that modesty is part of iman. Modesty is part of iman. فدعا بذلك صلى الله عليه وسلم إلى الإبقاء على الحياة في المسلم ونهى عن إزالته ولو منع صاحبه من استيفاء بعض حقوقه. So if you are modest, the way you correct people, the way you talk to them, it will show. So even if you're not telling them straight away at that time pointing to them that what they are doing is bad, because you want to use another method that would be more appealing, that would be more direct, and then understood, or yes, it's accepted. Not every time you see something that is wrong that you just point at it. Part of your modesty may lead you to, okay, you saw it when that person was doing it in the public, and if you think, if I do the correction now, he will not understand, or she will not understand, then you delayed it to the time when she's alone to correct him or to correct her. Yes, it's accepted, because Islam preaches modesty a lot. A woman among the people of the past was looking for a child, and while she was doing that, you know the way women, when they are looking for their child or children, you know the way they react. So her zealousness for finding the child led her to asking anybody that comes her way. And then she passed by some people, tas'aluhum an tifliha, and she was asking them about, did you help me see a child? Please, did you help me see a child? He dressed this way, and this way, he looks this way, is of this age, and then this height. She was describing the child to them. Faqala ahaduhum tas'alu hadhihi an waladiha wa hiya muntaqiba. He said, look at this woman. She is asking us about the whereabouts of her child, yet she didn't remove her veil, because she puts on the veil. Wa hiya muntaqiba. Look at this one. She wants us to tell her where the child is. The meaning of what he is saying is that she lost her child, yet she's still putting on the veil. As far as the man is concerned, she thought that the emotional attachment of a mother to a child, when she lost her child, would push her to removing the veil and start shouting all about, please help me, to call for sympathy. That's what he thought should happen. And people will excuse her and say, oh, do you know her? Yeah, I know her, but why is she not using her hijab? Because she lost her child. What are you talking about hijab? She's looking for a child. And we quickly excuse such people. What was the response of the woman? فَسَمِيتُهُ, the woman heard this comment. فَقَالَتْ لِأَنْ أُزْرَ فِي وَلَدِي خَيْرٌ مِنْ أَنْ أُزْرَهَا فِي آيَاتِ أَيُّ الرَّجُلِ. For me to lose my child and not seeing the child is better for me than to lose my chastity. Look at that. The fact that I'm looking for my child does not mean I will also forget about the type of person I am. I am a Muslim woman, and I use this veil. So either my child is lost or not, I will never remove the veil. That's what she's saying. So if you take that out of that context and you bring it to the present economy we face, you see so many women using hijab. After marriage, divorce, they lost their husband or whatever, they remove away the hijab. And if you ask, I say, what do you mean? When he left me with children, what do you want me to do? Many of them changed their religion. Initially, she was a Muslim of Al-Iyazu and she becomes something else. And people will excuse her. What do you want her to do? She has nobody to take care of her, so she has to find a way. But the comment of this woman shows that, yes, I'm looking for my child, but that does not make me to lose my chastity. I am still a Muslim woman, and I will remain a Muslim woman. So this is to the extent Islam preaches modesty. وَخُلُقُ الْحَيَاءِ فِي الْمُسْلِمِ غَيْرُ مَانِعٍ لَهُ أَنْ يَقُولَ حَقٍّ. Sometimes many of us have this erroneous understanding of modesty, that the meaning of modesty is for you not to say the truth. That's an erroneous understanding of modesty. The only thing is, because of the way the dawah of Islam is arranged, you can use another method. Prophet Noah ﷺ says, Inni da'awtu qawmi laylan wa naharan فَلَمْ يَزِدْهُمْ دُعَاهِ إِلَّا فِرَارًا وَإِنِّي كُلَّمَا دَعَوْتُهُمْ لِتَغْفِرَ لَهُمْ جَعَلُوا أَصَابِعَهُمْ فِي آذَانِهِمْ. Prophet Noah told us that there are so many methods of calling people to Islam. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was reporting the case in Surah Noah, he said, I used to call my people laylan wa nahar. Sometimes I call them during the day. I go to them in their place of work. I preach Islam to them. And they shout at me, when you don't have work, we are working, we don't want to listen to the word of God. Then I will leave them, waiting for them in the night. I will go to the house in the night again, start talking about Islam to them. Many of them will shout at me. And they will say, don't you even rest at all after work? You don't have anything doing. We don't want to listen to you now. We want to rest. He said sometimes, I call them jaharon publicly. I will call them publicly. Inni a'lantu lahum wa asrartu lahum israra. I will call them publicly in the presence of others so that it will be of benefit to all of them. And they will shout at me, you don't even know how to correct people. How come you are shouting at us in the public? Wa asrartu lahum israra. I will go to them one by one. And then I will talk to them about Allah. So Prophet Noah alayhi salatu wasalam showed to us that there are so many methods of calling people to Islam. But that does not mean the objective is for you to make the correction. The objective is not for you to make that correction immediately. You may not do it immediately. It depends on the damage, the consequence of your action, of the action of the person. If you allow the issue to go, so many people will go with that wrong understanding. Then, and you have the correct answer, you may. But the presentation of your speech, the introduction of your intention matters a lot. The way you present it. The same way, you allow the issue to go if you think this issue will not cause any harm. The only thing you have to know to do is to correct the person that says whatever he says. Somebody was given a lecture and he was talking about the time of Prophet Sulaiman alayhi salatu wasalam, and he made a mistake. He was saying, oh, Prophet Dawood. No problem. You may call his attention to that after the lecture. Oh, sorry, when you were given the lecture, you meant to say Prophet Sulaiman, but you were saying Prophet Dawood, because the incident you mentioned was Prophet Sulaiman. So, oh, Jazakumullah khair. But while the lecture was going to say, Assalamu alaikum, how come you mentioned Prophet Dawood when you went to mention Prophet Sulaiman? That is wrong. Your understanding of Sirah is wrong. No. So modesty will always teach you to say the truth. So if you shy away from saying the truth, that does not make you to be modest, because modesty will not prevent you from saying the truth. Aw yatlubu ilman, modesty will never prevent you from seeking for knowledge. Somebody does not know something, but because he's feeling shy, he think, okay, part of modesty is for you to feel shy. Don't ask questions. And he kept silent. Sometimes it affects us as students in class. The teacher will say, any question? So you don't want the student to laugh at you, to make you the laughing stock. Many of them that will laugh at you don't even know the answer. So you're asking the question, and the teacher giving the answer will not only salvage you from ignorance, it will also assist them. If they do not appreciate it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will appreciate it for you. That's one of the beauty. So if you have question bothering your mind, ask the question. Even to lecturers, either teachers in the mosque, muallim, or outside, don't just keep mute. And that's why in most cases, those who ask questions, they know more. Aw ya'mur bima'ruf. Modesty does not prevent you from commanding what is good or enjoying what is good. Aw yanha 'anil munkar, or making you to also forbid evil. Modesty will never stop you from doing that. So if you are the type that have such mind, that if you are modest, you will not correct people, you will not correct mistakes, you will not ask questions, that is a very wrong understanding of what modesty is. During the time of the Prophet ﷺ, an incident happened and it concerned a woman. And the woman was from a noble family. So the Prophet had to take punishment, carry out punishment upon the woman. But the people around did not want that to happen, because their stand was that, how can we make somebody of the noble family a scapegoat? So the Prophet ﷺ should just look aside and then forget about the incident. So they didn't know how to present that to the Prophet ﷺ. So they were looking for somebody whom the Prophet ﷺ loved so much. So they called on Usama bin Zayd. So Usama bin Zayd was the son of Zayd bin Harith, the one slave of the Prophet who became the adopted son. The Prophet ﷺ so much loved the father, Zayd bin Harith, and then the love transferred on his son, Usama. So they told Usama, could you just go to the Prophet on our behalf and plead that he should look away, he should not punish this girl, this lady, for the sin she's committed. Usama, after accepting to do that, went to the Prophet ﷺ and she presented the case. What was the response of the Prophet ﷺ? The Prophet ﷺ said, Atashfa'u fi ad-din min hududillah ya Usama? Do you want to come and plead on behalf of somebody in the limitations that are set by Allah? The rules of Allah that He has set. Somebody cross that rules, cross the limitation. You are now coming to plead on that person's behalf. Wallahi, law sarakot fulanat laqata'tu yada. If this sin were not to be committed by this woman or this lady, if it were to be committed by somebody else, even my daughter, I would take the legal step upon her and I would do the right thing. The Prophet ﷺ was modest. He loved Usama. The love he has for Usama did not stop him from telling him the truth. In our own cases, sometimes we do bend the rules for those we love. It's supposed not to be like that. And that is part of modest. So if you stand by the truth, then you are modest. The same thing with Sulaim al-Ansariya. Ya Rasulullah, inna Allah la yastahi min al-haq. She was from Ansar. She went to the Prophet ﷺ and she said, oh, the messenger of Allah, Allah is not miserly about the truth. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will always say the truth. For ala al-marhat min ghaslin idha ihtamat. If a woman experienced fluid, would she also take a bath like the men? She asked a question that was personal to the privacy of a woman. She was not shy away from the truth. She didn't know what to do. And she asked the question ﷺ, directly to the Prophet ﷺ. Some of our sisters, some of our women, they will be feeling shy. I don't know it, but I have to keep it to myself. If I ask, people will laugh at me and say, she doesn't know it. No, she asked the Prophet ﷺ directly. Is there any obligatory bath for a woman if she experienced fluid like men? She asked directly. And what was the answer of the Prophet? The Prophet ﷺ did not say, keep shut your mouth, you are not modest. Why should you be asking questions? No, he didn't say that to her. He said, Naam, idha ra'atil ma'. He answered the question. He said, yes. Once she experienced the fluid, she has to take the bath. He answered the question without any attachment, without any condition. So, and it was even said in another narration that Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu, when he became the Khalifa, he heard about women using mahar. Mahar is one of the pillars of marriage. If you want to get married to a woman, you have to give her mahar. Mahar is not dowry. that's a wrong interpretation of mahar, because when you look at the definition of mahar, of dowry is what you take. Even I think it's the family of the wife even give the family of the husband. So that's what dowry is. But in Islam, mahar is what the wife demand from the husband. So which is different. So the right interpretation of that could be nuptial gift, something that will make the woman to be lawful for you, and it should come as gift. She has to ask you. You cannot compel anything on her. So women who are using that as an opportunity to achieve their objective, to get more money, like it is now in so many of the Arabian and then so-called Muslim world. You see women, if you tell them, I want to marry you, they ask for mahar that you are not capable of paying. Money that you can never get throughout your life. And in some Arabian country, Allahu Alam, some women at the age of 30, 35 are not yet married because they are looking for a suitor that will belong to the family of the prince or family or royal family, or those who lift oil, that can pay $1 million as mahar. After money, quick money. So women were putting exorbitant demand on their mahar. So when Umar heard about this, the next thing he did was to cut down the mahar of women. And immediately he did that any woman does not have a right to collect more than so amount of. He gave a measure. It was said that a woman was the one that answered him, and she says, "Ayyutina Allah shay'an wa tamna'aha ya Umar." Is it that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make something lawful? Allah will give us something and you will deny us? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَآتَيْتُمْ إِحْدَاؤُنَّ قِنْطَارًا فَلَا تَأْخُذُوا مِنْهُ شَيْئًا. So Allah mentioned that we don't have a right to cut or to take from the mahar of women. So in Surah An-Nisa verse 20, فَلَمْ يَمْنَعَهَا الْحَيَاءُ. So modesty did not prevent the woman from asking Umar radiallahu anhu, or from replying Umar the right thing. And Umar radiallahu anhu did not use pride to say, I am the Khalifa, whatever I say is the final. So Umar radiallahu anhu answered by saying, Kullu nas afqahu minka ya Umar. It seems as if everybody has the understanding of Islam than you, Umar. And he was referring to the woman, that this woman understands Islam than you. And from that day henceforth, he stopped that limitation to the mahar. So in the light of that, when it comes to the issue of modesty, a Muslim is highly expected to be at the forefront. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that through this prophet, Wallahu ahaku an yastahi minu minan nas. If we are really pious of Allah, we should always be modest. We should always be shy of Him. On the day when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ask us questions, by the time when we don't have any hidden place, because Allah is Khabir, Alim, Hakim. Allah knows everything and Allah witnesses everything. Because it says, Wallahu ala kulli shay'in shahid. There is nothing we do that Allah does not witness. So the lessons we take from this is that part of our character should be the character of modesty. As we show modesty to fellow human beings, we have to show it to Allah. As we show the act of shyness to ourselves, we have to show it also to Allah. And we should also show it to human beings. فَلَا يَكْشِفُ لَهُمْ عَوْرَةً. A Muslim must not expose his privacy to people. Some brothers, they careless. You see them outside, they pull off their shirt, their top, and then some, even when they are observing salat, by the time they go to ruku, you see their underwear. Men, because the trouser will be falling down the waist. That is wrong. So, also, the fact that we love somebody does not mean we should not say the truth. No matter how you love that person, saying the truth is the best. The fact that you also want to keep your relationship with your dear friend or your dear lover does not mean you should not prevent that person from evil. We should also mind what we say. It's part of modesty. Wala nukhatibuhum biso. We should not say what we think is bad or evil. And we should not address them with the same. So, in our case, we are modest, shy before Allah, and as a result of that, we are not found wanting in our obedience to Allah. We are not found wanting in giving thanks to Him. We are not found wanting in doing His bid. Then we are also shy before human being because we don't deprive them of their rights. We are the type that will do whatever we want to do in the public to be seen. We do it in secrecy. So it's the same. What was said about Umar radhiyallahu anhu was that Umar is better in his secrecy than in his public life. If you are fortunate to see Umar in privacy when there was nobody, when he was not expecting you, you will see Umar being more obedient to Allah than in public. But people today, what we do is in public, whenever we see that some people are looking or they can see us, we pretend to be good servant of Allah. Maybe that's when they say, Astaghfirullah, 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 Astaghfirullah. So people say, oh, that brother is doing askar. But when immediately they leave, start listening to music again. You see, or start listening to Quran. Immediately they leave, you change the Quran to something else. So that is not an act of modesty. The Prophet ﷺ said from the statement of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, which is going to be the last statement here, is Tahayu min Allahi haqqal haya. Say you have to be modest. You have to be very cautious of the way you relate with Allah, the way it ought to be. He said, Fa'fadhu rasa wa mawa'a. You have to protect your head and what you put in the head. Wal batnu wa mahawa. You have to protect your stomach and what you put in the stomach. Wadhkuru limauta wal bala. And you should always remember that there will be a day you will die, and before that you will grow old. And you will not be able to do what you used to do before. So these are the attitude of somebody who is modest, who is chastity. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable us to have this good character and give us the will and the iman to put it into practice. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله ولكم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Inshallah, we'll allow for question, open the floor for comment too, if there is any. Bismillah. Wa alaikum salam wa barakatuh. Can you use the microphone?
Assalamu alaikum again. Workplace, I'm Hoover in the church. So I sometime in the Hoover, the church, and clean. So I have I am Muslim when we inside in the church and sometimes relax and Hoover the Hoover. Walk and relax. So any problem for in the church for Hoover or something like sometimes I clean.
At the place of work?
Yeah, place of work. Yeah.
So when you walk, at the time you have to rest a bit. Yeah. So is there any problem with resting a bit? Yeah. Okay. There is no problem with this condition. If you are paid by hours, maybe you were told for 1 hour you must finish from here to here. So that means within that your 1 hour you were able to finish from here to here for 50 minutes. You have 10 minutes. So you are the owner of the time because you finish what they asked to finish. But if you're asked to finish from here to here for 1 hour, at 50 minutes you are still here. So why do you want to rest?
No, because everybody rests in there. And
I'm not talking of everybody. I'm not talking of everybody. I'm talking of Muslim. Yeah. It's direct now. You agree that pay me for 1 hour, I will walk from here to here. 50 minutes, 60 minutes makes 1 hour. 50 minutes, you finish everything. Remaining 10 minutes. That 10 minutes is yours because 1 hour from here to here. The 10 minutes, if you like, you rest.
But he didn't say at time. Just
Okay.
like I have a few bedroom, I clean for that one and boss said, please clean you can hoover for like church, please. I say okay. The work in that place sometimes. So that's one. But he's never say 1 hour, 5 minutes, 15 minutes like that.
Yeah, that's the first explanation. That one is clear.
Yeah.
The second explanation is you are not paid for hours,
Yes.
but you have the period in which you have to work. You have the period. Okay, no problem. If you have the period, you would also have a certain measure of work you are supposed to do within that time. So once you finish that particular one, then you can rest. Otherwise, you cannot, because you are paid for that period. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
Resting now has definition. While you are working, you want to go to toilet. While you are working, you need to do refreshment like eat something, make a cup of tea. All those ones are part of it. They are good. But when you mean resting as in relaxing, sitting down, not doing anything, then the best is, the question now is, if you have a supervisor or the owner of the job, if he or she sees you doing what you're doing, will she accuse you or excuse you? If she is going to accuse you, why are you doing this then? Or if you see, because then you start moving.
No.
So, but if he will see you relaxing, then no problem. Then you can relax.
She relax, me relax, she relax, manager relax, boss relax, everybody.
Then if the boss, if the manager, everybody agrees to that, then no problem. That's the nature of your job.
But you don't relax.
But church, I say the church inside.
It doesn't matter. You agree to do that. That's your job. You want to do.
That's fine.
So, because that's a very good question. Somebody now said the reason why I did not do the job was because it was not the masjid. No, it's part of your job. If you don't want to do it, then don't even start from the beginning. Say, no, I'm not working here because this is not part of my belief. I don't work in this type of area. So, but you've agreed to work there and you are paid. So it's now your turn to do something. No, instead of me to do that job, I will go and relax. I won't touch it.
No, but some doctor and nurse say we education together, pray together. But she's laughing sometimes for me. Come on, we pray together, education together. That's I say no, I don't. They're not allowed. But I didn't say not allowed. But I go just. He's sitting, I'm sitting, everybody's sitting. I'm not praying. That thing.
Praying together is another. That's no work.
Different story.
So a different story. So, and you don't have to compromise that as Muslim. You must know that the prayer is not the same. We do different prayer, and if you don't have to be hypocritical, your prayer follows your belief.
Yeah.
So when you pray, your prayer is an element of what you believe in. So if you believe in Allah and you pray in another way, that's hypocritical. So a Muslim does not compromise
But
that.
inside I go, nothing wrong.
No.
Okay, then.
No.
Thank you.
Allah forgive us.
Thank you.
Another question?
One question for me.
Okay.
This is okay. Right?
No, there are sisters who want to listen to you.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa
Actually, this mohar is sometimes is like say this 500,000 is mohar.
500,000 what? Dollars or
No,
naira?
It's like this like now is here is we are this
Euro.
euro.
500,000 euro.
Euro.
Who is going to collect that from you?
Like rich people there is like
No.
like
500,000 euro. Who is is he a bank? 500 euro.
no 500 euro. It's like 5,000.
5,000.
5,000 euro.
Okay, 5,000 euro. Yeah. Because yes, it's true. 5,000. Yes.
5,000 euro.
No. 500,000.
That is her decision. If you are able to.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, we are even talking of reality. Yes, but it's true. It's a decision.
Even if she asks a million, that's
Yeah.
and that's when you agree between you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
I
are
agree.
able if you're not able.
You leave her.
5,000, somebody doesn't able even.
Yes.
Yes, somebody is not like ability is like have this like 5,000, okay, and his family say there is like you is Neka is this girl, you must be give this 5,000, and family compromise there. After then they say this like okay there is ornament give this like 2,000, another 3,000 is left. Okay, 2,000 say this like when is Neka, this time is like say this 2,000 is like fate, and 3,000 is left. And when is like his man is going this like meet this girl, and after he said this like you forgive me, this 3,000 is left. And you know, girl is like always this like love this like and say this like husband say anything that this time is like compromise. They say this like okay, that is no problem. But it's like Islam. How do you say that there is like how is that going on?
Okay. I will try to decode your question.
5,000.
Somebody was asked for 5,000 euro for mahar. Let me first of all say we said 500,000 euro and we shouted because we think it's not realistic, but that does not mean she cannot ask for 500,000 like our brother said.
This is like my country is like 500,000 is like a
It's like 1,000 euro here. I understand. I understand. So if that happens, we have to abide by our. If you are capable, go ahead. If you are not capable, let somebody else who is capable marry her. That's number one. But if you agree with her, then you are not able to pay the full amount of money.
Yeah.
You're able to pay like 2,000, and in the course of the marriage, after some expenses, you find out that you cannot pay. Then you then told her that, will you forgive the 3,000? Is that your question?
Yeah.
Good. That is not possible. Yeah. That's why, yes, in mahar, there is tajil wa ta'jil. To mahar, you can pay your mahar before marriage. You can pay it on the day of marriage. You can pay it after.
Marriage.
That's meaning of tajil wa ta'jil, in the payment of mahar. But if you pay it at tajil, which is after, and in the book of fiqh, ulama do say that if a man dies and he has the debt of mahar hanging on his head,
Yeah.
before your estate is distributed, that mahar will be taken out and will be given to your wife. If she says, my husband did not pay my mahar, he owes me 3,000 euro, then they will look at your saving, your belongings, your earnings, everything. They will take out the 3,000 and give it to her before they start distributing the estate, because that is a debt, even if she's your wife. So you cannot tell your wife, please forgive me. No. But if she says, my husband, I think the way things are going, you may not be able to. Don't worry, I overlook it. Allah says, فَإِن تِبُنَ لَكُمْ مِنِهُ أَنْ شَيْءٍ نَفْسًا فَقُلُوهُ أَنِي أَمَرِيَا. If they willingly overlook some for you, then no problem, you can take it.
But the question is asking.
Answer is like this.
That's what I'm saying. You cannot ask her why, because you're supposed to know before you get married to her.
Yeah. This is.
And in fact, if you marry a woman with the promise of paying a mahar, but you are a liar. You just want to pay her half. You won't pay her the remaining. You are committing zina.
Yeah, like this, but it's like now is the reality is that there is like all is like Muslim people is like we are this like married said this like I said this like my country there is this
I know when it's
Anybody.
5,000 there. After them this like not is like fair this more. That is going on. That's going on. It's like when this like give this like is gold or ornament, and this is like have that they say this I give you this one is like pheasant, like a 2,000, 3,000 is left, and then after he forget.
He can't forget. That's what I'm saying. He cannot forget.
They forget. Everybody.
He must not. No, you must not forget. It's a debt. You must. You see, every month you pay us something from the mahar. You can agree to say, okay, I want to start paying the mahar now. Every month I'll give you 200 euro. So for a year, 200 euro. That's 2,400.
Yeah.
So you finish it within a year. So just pay it monthly, and you must once you agree with her.
Yeah,
But if you know that you are not capable, don't agree with her. That's just it. Don't agree with her. That's the best.
But it's like
And
family
wife
condition.
said that no need.
Is they have family condition. They
What
have
is the family condition?
family like this? My daughter
Mhm.
and your son.
Okay.
I say this like if you there's like your son is married for my daughter,
Okay.
you give the 5,000.
Euro mahar.
And but it's like you are not capability. But you say this like you agree there with me. There is like I give you this 5,000.
If it is family agreement,
Yeah, family agreement.
that's where the problem is.
Yeah,
There is
they have
yes, there is problem in my country too.
Yeah. this
Some
one-
family they do agreement, but that is not mahar. That is not mahar. It must be between husband and wife.
But this is
But if it is family agreement, if I don't pay, no problem, because the family that wants to collect money from me is a thief family.
Family said that
although
I have
Although-
this 5,000 euro, I have sure I give my wife, but my father said that give you 10,000 euro, and this my
Daughter
wife's,
is giving.
father said that 10,000 euro. The two person is agree.
Agree.
The 10,000 euro mahar and 5,000 euro. I have lived the 5,000 euro, but my father and his father said that 10,000 euro. This
You understand
what
what
can
is
I
the
do?
problem?
This
the
solution.
5,000 is between you and your wife.
Yeah.
Yes.
Eh, pay your wife 5,000. Your father will pay the 5,000 to his father.
Leave him 5,000.
Sorry?
It's cultural what they're talking
Yeah, it's cultural.
It's the same problem that we have in some
We also have it in our
I
country.
witnessed it one of
Yeah,
it.
there's
I know
like-
where it's coming from.
Yeah. Yeah.
And another thing,
The akad is between the man and the woman.
Yeah.
That's the religion.
Yeah.
They have to agree, and the man has to pay before he dies to the lady what he
Yeah.
agreed. If you die before that, you are in trouble.
But it's a family make it.
Trouble. If you
Family make
Family
meet
make is agreement.
Family make.
Yeah, it happens.
Meet trouble there.
It's fine. It's the same thing happened. Her father asked him that he has to get that much money. And argument started, and they were really separated each other. So the lady interfered, the one he was marrying, the sister, she interfered, she was sheikha. She said, I will forgive you. Whatever he says, I don't want an argument for a one day that I will be separated from my father to my real house, the family. So I don't mind, I will forgive you. Don't argue with it. Whatever he says, accept it. But I don't need more than kitab of hadith, something like that, she asked him. But what they are asking is condition coming from the family. That's what
Yeah,
it's talking
this
about.
family there.
But
That's-
the girl, she only asked that if Muslim.
That's why I said there are two ways to that. There are two ways. The first one is your agreement with your wife is the most important mahar. That's the mahar. The one for the family is rubbish. Is rubbish as far as our religion is concerned. Because Allah did not ask the family to collect anything from you.
Before is like a
But my own advice is, even if the family comes in that, if you cannot, don't agree with them, because the Prophet has said, "Ali Muslimuna ala shurutihim." Tell them, "I'm not capable and I'm not going ahead." If she really loves you, she will fight her family, and when she wins, they will call you back because they cannot marry their daughter. So don't go and put your head and say, I will not pay. No.
No, it's like
It's the best.
our tradition, like
Another problem is
It's not your tradition alone. Even in my own country, some people do it. So it's not.
yeah, they are said it's like
against the religion, only one
yeah, they are said it's like now this is a big problem there is. That's the mean. They are,
Go.
they are said it's-
Like it's my
My
lecture.
daughter has this 5,000.
When we finish.
My daughter had
Keeping the
3,000.
family issues
I
aside,
am Sheikh.
like your families are involved, forget them.
Okay.
Man and a woman, they agree for like the same question, 5,000.
Okay.
And first he gives 2,000, and later on he thinks that I don't want to give 3,000. So what the actual question was, he goes and asks the wife in a good way or something. Or try
I've said it's not. Once you
No, it's
agree
not.
with your wife,
No,
you
that's
must
fine.
pay.
The question is, he asks, and she says, okay. I
Leave her alone. You must not go to her.
That's the point. That's fine.
That's just it.
No, but for some people have done already. But I'm just trying to understand.
Some have done it. Then go and pay her back.
They have to pay.
Yeah. Then, you know what will happen? After you pay her, she collected the 3,000 from you. Is her whole. She keep it. Maybe later you say, okay, I give you. That's another thing. But if you set the condition that will make her to pay you back, then you are causing trouble. Because Allah says, "Wala tudarruhunna litudayyiku alayhinna." Don't use a method to create a condition that will be very stringent, so that she will have to.
So we cannot make
You don't do that.
in such a way.
No.
She has to say no.
Yes, you don't. Men we do it, and it's haram. Because that's why Allah says, "Wala tudarruhunna litudayyiqu alayhinna." You don't do that. You don't create an environment that will be stringent on them, so that for her to now say no. You don't do that. Allah sees the intention. Allah sees your mind. So if you cannot, don't go into it. I'm sorry, I can't pay that mahar. Leave her. If she fights, let me tell you the way we do it in my country. If we go to a family, in my own country, in my tribe, they don't ask for what you cannot. They won't ask for 10 million. No. They ask for something very small. But they will put haram there. That's the problem we have. They will put haram. They will ask you to bring wine. They will ask you something haram. They will ask you to bring. I say, no, I cannot bring this. If you can't bring this, then you can't marry our daughter. Okay, no, Bismillah, take your daughter. Then you go. Then you go, you left her. Then she'll be crying. She'll be crying to her father, crying to her sister, crying to her mother, crying to everybody. Then they will come and call you. Come and take your wife. So that's they will call you. So you just don't fall for that like that.
Iman. It's like Iman.
It is the Iman. Yes, you have to develop it. And that's what we do. There was a case of a sister. She was told the same thing after 2 years. After 2 years, she didn't accept anybody. She said, that is my husband I want to marry. Within that 2 years, that husband has married a wife. And the family was saying, but he has been said, yes, I will go and be the second wife. You caused it for me. I'm a Muslim. You asked him to bring haram. He said he does not. And after 2 years, they start sending message to him. Come and take your wife. He said, no, I have my wife. He said, no, please. Now, nothing like haram anymore. So sometimes we have to fight for what we believe in. You don't have to deceive. Tell this is you and that is you. And that's why I said once you agree with them, then you are in trouble. But don't agree with them. Agree with your wife. And let them know this is our agreement. If they agree, Bismillah. If they don't agree, take your daughter. No problem. Look for your wife elsewhere.
Yeah, his family said this 10,000. And if like meet to this like a wife, and you talk to her this like your family said this 10,000, but I agreement I capability my this I give you 5,000. You are agree with me. Is possible that talk to this wife.
Do you understand the question?
Once again,
If like question is like family is like say this 10,000, okay, and he actually not capability this like pay this 10,000. He have this like 5,000. and he meet to this like separate is like with a girl, wife talk to no not like now wife, this before wife, talk to her. It's like your family said it's like 10,000, but I have not capability this 10,000. I give you this like you 5,000. You agree with me? If like she agree, there are 5,000. Is another have this 10,000 there. Is that okay?
That's what we are talking of. Wait. If it has happened between you and your wife, and now she's your wife, then maybe no problem. But if it has not happened, don't go into it. Why? Because the Prophet said, Ali Muslimuna ala shurutihim. You don't agree on what you think you cannot do. Tell them, I cannot do this. That's you. You get it clear now. But if it has happened, then no problem, because your wife demands for 5,000. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
And you've given, alhamdulillah, you're okay.
But his family is
Yes,
10,000.
yes, but they will know you as a liar, that you are a liar, because you told them. Yes, it's for the girl.
No, same like who's making the aqdi, he has to send people to ask out of our mouth,
Yeah.
to confirm.
Yeah.
The aqdi can't go ahead until you confirm from her.
Yeah.
That means she is asking, agreeing what you agreed with her.
Yeah.
And the culture, I know the tradition and the culture is different. It's very hard.
That's why you see all the marriage we did here, we ask, we say it out. This is what he said he wants to collect.
Same like question, but
Yeah.
another problem is my country.
Okay.
I am married is 20 years ago.
Okay.
Same like my father and brother give me 3,000 euro. Okay, Muharram, and 1,500 euro.
Somebody is being mean.
Ornament and 500 euro.
Sorry.
But this is ornaments okay. I am go to this night is my wife's room. Said that you Muharram is this 105,000 euro. I give, but she said that
Another 1,500.
another 1,500 is left. This money. My wife said that I no need the money. This time.
She forgive you, yeah.
She said that no need this money. But yes, 20 years after
20 years. Okay.
I said that I
Take
need
your
this money.
Okay. Can she demand after 20 years?
After
Or
she
after
needs
some
money.
time? Once she forgive?
Not this time is I don't know. She is happy or the unhappy. I am happy.
Because
She
at
is
that
happy.
time girls are
But she said that no need money. This time.
After he says, give me money. Please.
Yes, at
Once
the
she forgive.
I understand. You see, the best is for her to collect it.
Yeah.
Then she said, okay, I've collected it now.
No, if she
Now she said, okay, take, I give you. That's the best.
yeah, I give you more than money. But no, I not told him this money is Muharram.
No, it must be said. No. How much your mar? 2,000. 2,000.
I give.
he's saying he would have given more.
I understand, but if you didn't say it's mar, it's hiba, it's gift. Because you're supposed to give your wife gift.
Yeah.
So if you like, you pay 100,000. If you didn't say mahar, you must say this is mahar.
I don't get it.
Huh?
But before I pay or the no, I don't know. But she said,
And now that you know, pay. Let's visit Abu Khari.
If you say this is your man,
Okay.
woman will start thinking that is he divorcing you?
Yeah, that is one problem.
That's why.
That is one
But
problem.
the religion is a religion.
Yeah.
What Allah
And
said, what
and if
the Rasul made or did it,
Tell
that's what we
Allah.
have to follow. I know where everything is
Tell
coming from. I
Allah.
knew when they were asking that question, and I know where things are twisted. And back home, it took more than 20 years.
and she's
Very
and
much
she puts
overcome.
markers on his
all
hand.
the shops, everywhere. What
Sammy,
we
I don't do
display it,
that.
we call
Go
it,
and tell his father what you
this
did.
is for the lady, it's not for the family. Allah said this and this and this. So fear Allah.
Why did you do that to
Now that's why there's like our have problem. There's like
So you have to lecture her. Let her know. This is Islam. Yeah, this is Islam. Take it.
But before I buy this, everything is half. Everything, land, or the house, or the everything.
Since. Okay, your question now,
She said
brother.
that before this, no need. Why it told me yes?
That's woman for you. That's why allow her to collect it. Let her collect it. Then after collection, if she give it to you, that's gift. It's no more mar. If you give it to her, she said no, pay it into her account. Pay the money to her account. Let it be there. If she wants to give it, you withdraw it and give it to you. Alhamdulillah, you paid and it has been given back to you. Yeah, no problem. But don't agree with her. Don't worry. She will worry.
Don't negotiate with her.
Don't negotiate. Don't negotiate. Yeah.
Don't make her feel embarrassed or to let you go or
Yeah.
no. This is something
You see, in your own country, if you pay her, she will think you want to divorce her. In my own country, if you marry her and you say, okay, you're married, she may say, don't worry. Because in my country, we marry 2, 3, 4 wives. In my country. So then you go to her, I want to marry her, say, where is my mahar?
Yeah.
Go on. Excellent.
So in relation to the phrase you said, to enjoy the goal and to avoid the evil. So in terms of modesty, for example, you have a friend, for example, you give an example, maybe a music festival going on a concert, and that's it. It's haram that they shouldn't be doing this. Is it modesty to tell them once and to leave them, or to continue telling them, or once you tell them they don't listen, you go away?
Who are those them?
Your friends.
Okay.
Your friend. So, for example, what they do is haram.
Okay.
So you advise them. You advise them once, and if they don't listen, that's it. Or do you advise continuously?
You have to unmark that thing. If you don't, you have to unmark that thing. What they do?
Okay.
No.
Get unmasked. Okay, for example.
What is it? Give an
They
example.
went to a music concert.
Okay.
A music concert.
Okay.
Music. So they went to a music concert.
And did you go with them?
No.
Okay. Okay.
No, so they went to a music concert. So they know that you don't listen to music or anything.
Okay.
But you already told them the music is haram. So once you told them once, is your modesty shown by telling them once and leaving them to do what they want? Or do you continuously advise them? Or do you tell them once and leave them alone?
The issue has to do with uslub dawa, the method of calling people to Islam. If you look at the case of Prophet Noah that I cited, it's not once, but you have to change the style every now and then. You have to, so that it will not be as if you are forcing them. You tell them, another time you find another way. Sometimes they may come to you and say, oh, last month you did not even ask what happened to that guy on the head. So what I've said when we went for concert. So that's why Islam says you should not be going to. So you conclude with them by ending it with them. They brought the case to you. So change the style. Once you told them the first time, ud'u ila sabili rabbika bil hikmati wal maw'izati al hasana. Change the style. Don't use one style. Use all possible ways to bring in until they would. The objective is if all of them did not, one of them or two of them would come out of that, and that will be your gain. Wallahu alam. But there's nothing that says you say it once. You may keep on saying it, but use different method. Huh?
Don't give up and be patient.
Sorry?
Don't give up. And be
Don't give up.
patient.
Yeah, and
Be patient.
be patient with them. So
Don't expect the outcome. It can happen straight away.
yeah,
Allah is in His hand. Make
Yeah.
dua for them as well.
yeah,
It will happen definitely.
yeah. There is a qaida, a principle to the du'at. They said, "Alayna al-amalu wa 'ala Allahi natija." Your own job is to work, to call. For them to respond belongs to Allah. If Allah needs them, Allah will invite them. When you invite people, Allah will also invite them. If Allah needs them, Shaitan will also invite them. So if they come, then Allah needs them. If they don't come, then they will go with Shaitan. So, but Allah will not punish you because they did not answer. So no, once you say it, then you fulfill your own. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive our sins. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.